Bine ați venit la acest episod. Vom vorbi, avem ca invitat pe MUKINKA și acest podcast va fi în limba engleză, că am zis să fie mai ușoară conversația. Să fie tot ok. Thank you for accepting my invitation for the podcast. I have so many questions because I think in the past time a lot of things happened.
Yeah.
And let's start from the start because first of all I want to ask you, so where are you from exactly? Like origins?
Zambia.
Okay.
Zambia.
And
Zambia,
how
Africa.
did you how much time did you spend there?
Until I was 6-7 years old.
Okay,
then I lived
6-7.
there. Yeah.
And then did your family move to
Belgium.
Belgium, okay.
Yeah. My dad, he got a scholarship to do his master's and PhD in Belgium.
Okay.
So the scholarship took the family. So he finished his PhD, and we ended up just living there because I spoke the language. I got integrated in the system. I knew the language, me and my sister.
Okay, and you got citizenship, and then...
We never wanted to stay, but my parents wanted to stay because of my sister and me, because we were so integrated with the culture, the language,
system, okay,
everything.
Yeah.
They thought it's too big of a shock to take us out and take us to Zambia. It's too big of a difference for them. They would like Zambia because they grew up there, they know how it is.
And it's familiar for them.
It's familiar for them, but they stayed for me and my sister.
Ah, nice. And how, for what language did your parents talk to you?
English.
English, okay.
English.
I don't know this. I'm a little bit stupid. I don't know so many things about other what's the official language of Zambia?
English, because we have 73 tribes, so there's 73 languages. Some of them are dialects, but there's just many languages, so they need to find the official common language that everyone speaks. And because of the British Empire, everyone speaks English. So my parents actually, they used to speak my dad used to speak in Bemba to me. My mom is Kaonde. But
what is there anything that resembles these languages? No,
there isn't. At least not in Europe. I don't think even in Africa. There's a few languages that resemble in Africa. They come from the same language family, like German and Dutch. You know.
Okay, and they are like a relative. Okay.
But my parents' languages are not relatives. My dad's tribe and my mom's tribe, they're different. So my mom was Kaonde, my dad Bemba. So my dad would speak mostly in Bemba to me, and but then when we moved to Belgium, actually they told us, okay, don't speak Bemba anymore because you have to learn Dutch.
Okay.
So me and my sister only then started to speak Dutch to each other, but then we ended up not speaking Bemba anymore.
And you forgot the language. Do you still remember some
of it? I understand some of it, but I don't hear it enough to really, have any use of it. Even with my parents today, I talk to them in English.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think this is so interesting because like when you're a child, you can like learn. Your brain is like a sponge, and you can learn any language. You can learn 10 languages at once.
Yeah.
I remember because I lived in Germany for long, and I saw a lot of Romanian families who had children, and they always spoke to them directly in German, and they said, no, I'm not gonna speak Romanian to them because they'll mess their brains up.
Yeah.
And that's so stupid.
That's so
stupid because like when you are a child, you can learn so many languages so easy. And it's just it makes your brain actually more powerful, so to say, because you develop more neural connections.
Yeah. My daughter, I'm only going to speak to her in Dutch, and my wife will speak to her in Romanian. And between us, we will keep speaking in English. So she will hear English from us. She will know Dutch from me. She will know Romanian from my wife, and also from the environment. So she will be fine.
Yeah, of course. That's really cool. Yeah, because you just became a father, and congratulations for that.
Thank you.
I think it's a big step in someone's life, and the thing is that it's really cool that she gets to learn like 3 languages at once. It's really like it helps you a lot.
Yeah.
When you know more languages.
You know, they say that if you know a different language and you think in that language, your
personality changes.
Yes, your personality changes. And it's true. I can say it's true. When I think in Dutch, it's like a different MUKINKA than when I think in English, you know? So even for comedy, for me, it will be difficult to do stand-up comedy in Dutch because I don't make the same connections I make in English as I do in Dutch.
I really understand this because like when I started doing comedy, I started also in English, and it was something totally different. I have one joke. I tried to do it in Romanian a few times. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work because the words have different impact and different heaviness to them.
Yes.
And also, like for example, you have words in languages. You have some words in English that you don't have in Romanian, and you have some words in Dutch that you don't have in English. And it's not always easy to find substitutes.
No.
So
you know, at first when I was doing comedy, a lot of people thought that my mixing of Romanian and English was on purpose to be to use that as my punchline for funny. But when I was speaking with my friends in day-to-day life, I would speak English and with Romanian punchline words, just in normal conversation, because like it's very difficult to translate bunica, and when you hear bunica in Romanian, already just sounds funny. You know?
Exactly.
When I say grandma in English, the funny is taken away because the image of a bunica and a grandma, they don't match each other. And so when I would be thinking of something funny, I would think of a bunica, and then I would say it in English and end it with bunica. But then the same thing I thought was funny, people also translate it in the same way. So they're like, it's funny because of, you know, that.
Yeah, exactly. The heaviness, the
heaviness,
baggage of the word.
Yeah.
For example, I think an equivalent for bunica would be babushka from Russian.
Yes.
It would be kind of on the same level, right?
Yes.
It's bunica, babushka.
Yes. It would be. It would be. Yeah.
And I also, when I started, I also started in English, and I used to use some German words because I couldn't translate them, and you would lose the funny stuff from the. And I just understand this.
Some words in Romanian are only funny in Romanian, and if you try and translate them, it doesn't have the same, you know.
And it's like really different because when I speak another language, I also said this in another podcast, I think, but when you speak another language that it's not native, for example, for me, Romanian is native, but English is secondary.
For me, English is native, but Romanian, I can't say secondary, it's probably third place right now. Yeah.
And you feel like I'm speaking with a condom on, you know? Like I have, it feels like that. Like I don't get the same emotional response from words in another language like I get when I say, for example, fuck. I know it's a bad word. I know it means something bad, but it's different when I say pula, or it has more.
It has pula has a much more weight to it than fuck. Yeah, it does.
And tell me a bit, because we got into another discussion. Tell me a bit. So you moved to Belgium, and then you moved to
Scotland.
Yeah, okay.
Again, my dad.
At what age?
17. My dad was looking for a job because he was doing research papers. After he finished his doctorate, he was doing research papers, and he wanted to get.
Can I ask in what he did research?
Yeah, hydrological neural networks.
Oh, nice.
It's civil engineering, but a branch to do with water.
Okay.
And so he basically finished. Then he wanted to work, got a job in Scotland, and so the family moved to Scotland. And,
nice.
I lived there till I was 23. I don't know, 7 years ish.
Where
I lived
in Scotland?
There. Glasgow.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah, man. Glasgow is. I keep telling people how safe Bucharest is, and no one wants to believe me because no one knows about Glasgow. That they think, Scotland. No, it's nice. It's Pasney. It's Glasgow is crazy.
It's not,
You cannot go in a club on a Friday night in Glasgow and something not to happen. Every single night when you're partying in Glasgow, something goes down. Something always goes down.
Holy shit.
And they don't even serve beer in glass bottles anymore. because the Scots, they would get drunk and they're fighty people, right? So they would break the glasses and they would stab and break on each other's heads.
And how do they serve beer?
Plastic cups. Everything is in plastic cups. There's no glass in a club because they know how people get. And clubs, I think at 2:30 or something, they shut down.
They shut down,
because they can't go any longer because the alcohol intake then gets too high and the violence increases. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very common right after the clubs. Like on, you'd compare it here to like Centru Vechi.
Okay.
It's like when the clubs finish, there's police everywhere. That's a very common scene. Just police everywhere, just to make sure shit doesn't happen. Yeah.
Like I noticed, like when I also stayed for a bit in England, and in this town, like every weekend night, there was a bus in the center of the town that was for people who could that they were so drunk they could not walk home and they could sleep there in the bus. Yeah. And there was a doctor.
Yeah, it's Britain.
There was a doctor that would give you like a.
I'm not surprised. It was very common. Like when I came to Bucharest and I went out with some friends and the girls were like, "Oh, I drank so much. Oh, deja mă simți beat." And I was like, "What? I saw you drink 2 wine glasses. What do you mean?" Like I was used to like when like Scotland, when girls get drunk, they're on the floor, they're drunk, they're puking, they're like it's drunk, you know. And here they were just like this a little bit. "Oh, sunt beat." I'm like, what are you talking about?
So, probably it's also because like they don't care so much and probably are a little bit more emancipated, not necessarily emancipated.
Yeah, they're just more. There's less of a stigma.
Yeah, exactly. The stigma is not so big as it is in Romania. And that's why it's okay.
Yeah.
So then you moved to Scotland, and afterwards you moved to.
Actually, Scotland. I moved to Zambia for a year and a half. I lived there.
Okay, how come?
Part curiosity with my, roots.
Okay.
Partly just a personal circumstance. I just wanted to just get out of Scotland. I just wanted to see something else, be elsewhere.
Okay, nice.
So that was for me, like in a way, also a liberation. You know, to just kind of.
Like a 1 year sabbatical.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I felt like some things were building up. So I went to Zambia a year and a half. After Zambia, a year and a half, I went back to Scotland, but my experience in Zambia changed my life. I mean,
okay, how come?
It was phenomenal. The people, awesome people. The weather, the country.
What's the biggest difference that you noticed between Zambia and Scotland?
Well, I would say just
in behavior,
Europe
and
and Africa, in this southern Africa, the part where I'm from, the people are very warm and very happy.
In Zambia,
unexplainably happy. It fucks with you at first. You don't, because you see poverty and you see real poverty, but you don't understand how are you happy. It fucks with you. It really does. So you see people that are unexplainably happy, and it's real. It's really authentic. And you see people that literally live in the moment. They are literally 100% in the moment. They're not thinking about the past or the future. Everything is now. Even like when you're walking with a friend to a shop to get some drinks and then come back, they walk so slow, and then you tell them, "Come on, let's walk faster." Like, but why? What's the rush? Yeah, we just go there quick, then we get home quick. Like, but what do you gain out of rushing? Like they're just like every moment is so important. They're just living in the moment. For me, that was for me a shock, the happiness.
Yeah, I think so. Like only you saying this gave me anxiety.
Yeah, it
like,
messes
why don't
with you.
Go? Just go.
It messes with you because I was always go. They're the exact opposite. But they're like that with everything, though. You're trying to order a plane ticket. The people at the cashier super relaxed. Taking everything, talking to their friend, laughing, ha ha ha.
I would die.
Yeah, laughing, ha. Everything goes like that, right? But the people have a different view on life. Very happy people. The climate is phenomenal. It's like 25 degrees all year round.
Okay.
It's not too hot, not cold. It's just perfect all year round. Okay, there's 2 months. One very hot, 30 degrees is hot for them.
Okay.
And one cold, 15 degrees. That's cold for them.
Okay.
So Other than that, you see poverty, but you also see opportunities. I saw it's like, oh, if I had a bit of money, I could really make a lot of money here. It's like going back to Romania, and Annie knows it,
when everything was fucked up.
But with the knowledge you have of now, right? It's like you have this knowledge now, and you go to Romania, and Annie knows it, and you have money. Or if you don't have money, you're like, fuck, if I had money, I would be so rich. That's what it's like going to Zambia. You go there and you're like, fuck, if I had money, I know this is such an easy problem to fix. I could become I could get wealthy from this, And there's a lot of people springing up now, getting a lot of money from these ideas. But when anyone goes to Africa, a lot of these things come to mind, like, crap, I could make a lot of money here.
Yeah.
So there was also that aspect. But the most shocking part, in a way, was that the people in Africa, especially the people like our age, they are so aware of everything going on in the world because of the smartphones and technology. Like, they literally know every meme, everything you would think. They would think, oh, they're in Africa, they don't know. They're up to date with all the memes, all the jokes, all the internet jokes, all the trends, everything. They all know it.
It's so cool.
And it's crazy. It's like, you're in Africa, but then I'm like, well, it doesn't mean that you're supposed to be backward then, It just means you're in a different location.
You have internet.
You have access to the same information everyone has. So the people are just up to date with everything. So that was for me another bit eye opener. And I said to myself, I'm not going to judge anymore a country before I go. And I always judged Eastern Europe. I said, man, Eastern Europe, because we're in the Western Europe, you get taught in school, communism, they really messed them up. They're so behind. We were lucky because we were liberal capitalists, but they don't know. They're angry people. They're just angry Eastern European racist skinheads who are Marxists. You get this idea of Eastern Europe. You're like, man, I don't know about Eastern Europe. I don't know. And when I went back to Scotland, I stayed a maximum of 3 weeks, and I was like, okay, I need to find a job, and I'm open to a job anywhere. So I started
Did you went to university or something?
In Scotland?
Yeah.
I studied at the University of Glasgow. I did 2 years of mechanical engineering with aeronautics.
Okay.
I didn't finish. I studied before that at college, 2 years of mechanical engineering. So I got a diploma out of that. That makes me a mechanical engineer by diploma. And then I did mechanical engineering with aeronautics because I thought rockets and stuff is cool. But I didn't finish. Multiple reasons. Most of them just being a bit young and naive and just making dumb decisions.
Right.
But it's not a decision I regret because I never saw myself working as an engineer. Didn't click.
And afterwards you moved to Romania.
I got a job offer in Romania. Amongst other job offers, I got a job offer in Czech Republic, and I got a job offer in Spain and Romania. And by chance, I knew a Romanian from in Glasgow, social friends, social circles. And the friend was like, but you can try. And I was like, but look at the offer. Well, look what they're offering me. This is pathetic. I can't live with this. And then she was like, you don't need to think like in Scottish terms of money. This is little for Scotland, but trust me, in Romania, this is very okay. You will be fine. And if you don't like it, you come back after 2-3 months. What's the big deal? It's not ticket is not, you're not going to break your back for a ticket. You can come back. And I thought, fuck yeah. I'm curious about Eastern Europe.
So cool, yeah.
Let's go for a few months and I'll come back and we'll see how it goes.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And so that was the reason
that was it. I jumped on the plane, came alone, didn't know anyone. And,
when did this happen?
6.5 years ago.
6.5 years ago. Wait, 6.5 years, I was 22. 22, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. And you liked it?
Yeah, man. I kept postponing. I kept saying, okay, I'll stay 6-7 months more, and then time passes, and then again I say another 6-7 months. But in the meantime, I'm postponing. I started to make career changes to get better jobs, better income, and when I went back to Scotland to visit my family, I didn't feel at home. I just felt out of place.
And you felt more at home
in Romania, 100%. When I was in Scotland, I was like, man, I can't wait to go back.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't.
That's so shocking because I wouldn't expect I expect that nobody would want to come to Romania. In my mind, why would you come to Romania? Everybody leaves the country, but why would
I have friends who also moved from Holland to Romania.
Really?
And when at our job, we used to go on a business trip to Holland. We all had the same feeling. After 2-3 days, first we were like, man, it's so nice to just have roads that are properly done and infrastructure that looks okay and systems that work. It feels so good. Oh, what a breath of fresh air. But after 3 days, we're like, man, I can't wait to go back to Bucharest. I'm fed up of this. I don't want to. You just don't feel, it's the vibe, the people. It's more than just the simple things, You just feel the energy is different in Bucharest.
Yeah, because for example, I stayed for 5 years in Germany, and I could have stayed there and continue and have a very good opportunity and but it wasn't for me. I just couldn't stand it.
Yeah. You don't feel like you're living, depending on the person.
Yeah, exactly.
But for me, I just feel like I'm not living. It's just too. I don't know. I don't feel it.
The feeling that I got was that the people were always living with the mask on, very cold. Yeah. You could never get to them as a person. You only met the mask, and I always felt like I never made a real connection with anybody.
It's the same in Belgium, for instance, where I grew up. In Belgium, your friends are the ones you grew up with from childhood. You don't really, it's very rare to gain new friends or enter new friend circles.
Yeah.
Your friend group remains that friend group most of your life. And later in life, if someone enters that friend group, it's a friend of a good friend of yours.
Yeah.
It's so difficult. For me, when I came to Romania, at the airport, in the line going to Bucharest, there was a guy, Bogdan, he was like, so where are you going, man? I'm like, Bucharest. And he started to talk to me. And so when I landed, he said, listen, this is my number, my contact details. Call me, and this evening we're going to Centru Vechi. We're going to go out with some friends of mine. And for me, that was like, what? This guy doesn't even know me and he's asking me to hang out with his friends. So I landed, put my bags in the apartment. I went to Centru Vechi to party. And I was partying with a lot of Romanians. We were a table of 15 people. Everyone super friendly. Everyone talking to me, asking me. It's like, what the heck is this? These people are they're so warm. They're
I can understand
what the
why.
heck is this? Yeah. So everyone was so warm. And I was like, okay, maybe I just got lucky. I went to my job. It's lunchtime. Everyone, hey man, what are you doing for lunch? Let's go together for lunch. Every day someone would call me for lunch to go eat with them. And they would tell me, after work, we're going for beers. After work, we're going to Centru Vechi. My first year was only partying and socializing. And suddenly I was like, man, I have more friends than I ever did in Belgium or Scotland put together. And I've only been here 1 year, So that was also a huge aspect to
The thing is that in Romania, is this thing when people from other countries come, you get a lot of attention because it's I don't know, I think this is from communism because other people from other countries were so rare. And when somebody else comes, everybody's excited. Oh my God, let's see how, because it's a chance to meet. And Romanians are Latin blooded.
Yes,
so they are.
That was another shock. I thought that Romanians were Slavic, so I was expecting a very Slavic kind of approach to things.
No, they're very, more like Spanish people or Italians.
Because even after living here, I was like, Romanians relate more to Italians, Spanish than they do to, for instance, Bulgarians or Serbians who are Slavic. A Romanian will say, no, I'm more similar to an Italian than I am to a Bulgarian or a Serb, even though they're closer. So again, for me, that was a shock. And I was shocked about the history.
Don't expect it.
No. I always tell everyone Romania is a hidden jewel in Europe. It really is. And it can remain like that a little bit because tourists fuck a lot of things up. Especially the British tourist. They fuck so much up. Even in Centru Vechi.
Also the German tourists. Because everybody, German and British tourists, they go to other countries and they think that's their
you can do whatever you want.
And you can do whatever you want.
In Centru Vechi now, if I hear, I'm like, it's either British or German tourists. It's not Romanians. Romanians don't shout in public. It's them.
This was one thing, sorry, but in Germany, I never could understand this fucking shit. everybody was shouting on the streets,
Yeah.
and I would be like, "Why are you doing this?"
Yeah,
They just scream.
It's barbaric behavior.
They just scream. They just go on the street and scream.
Yeah.
This I forgot about this.
Yeah,
this
yeah,
happens
scream.
all
Yes,
the
all
time.
the time.
Every day, every night.
Yes, when I was going out in Centru Vechi, for me it was phenomenal. Like I would go in a club, thinking first people are not shouting, and there aren't people trying to agitate you. In Scotland, it was very common. Someone says, "Hey, what are you looking at? What are you?" Someone just, you had to know how to navigate.
Like searching for.
There were some troublemakers. Very
yeah.
common to just find some troublemakers there. They're drunk. They didn't get a girl. They want to start trouble. In Bucharest, I remember flirting with a girl, and her boyfriend came. I was like, "Hey, what's up?" This and that. And then her boyfriend came. And I was like, oh crap, I need to brace myself because a potential fight could happen. And he just goes, "Hey man, what's up, man?" "Ah, that's my girlfriend." I'm like, "Oh, okay, my bad, man." And he's like, "Yeah, no worries, man. Hey, see you around, man." I'm like, what the hell happened? This dude was not aggressive. In Scotland, you're talking to someone's girl, it could go bad. It could go.
But like if you don't know, if you don't know that she has a boyfriend, I don't know, it's no reason.
You don't even see fights for, it's crazy. For me, I was shocked when even friends would tell me, "Yeah, I was trying to talk to this girl. Turns out she had a boyfriend, and the boyfriend," and I was like, nothing happens. Like, no, why would he beat me? He doesn't know.
Well, for sure, also you can find here also people like that are stupid, but probably it's not so common as you say.
No, in Scotland, you expect it. Okay, I flirted with this. Expect the guy to show bravado. He'll at least be like, "Yo, what the heck are you doing?" Right? And then you just back off. But he will come with an aggressive way. In Romania, they come very peaceful. "Hey, what's up? It's my girlfriend, man." "Oh, okay, sorry," and done. Nothing. Or you bump into each other in a club. Two guys bumping into each other. You just say, "Oh, sorry," and you move on. Scotland, sometimes you just bump into each other. Oh, that could start a fight. And when a fight starts, it can go big, and it depends on the clubs as well, but it can
That's so weird because I was in Dublin for a few days, and I also got good treatment, but I saw that people were searching for fights, they were more aggressive in attitude and speaking. Yes. And I'm like, okay, I wish I don't get in a fight.
You're always wary, always at the back of your mind.
You're worrying that
Bucharest, I never had that worry. I never had it in the back of my mind that something would happen. I got punched once.
Okay.
And even then it was a Russian guy. It wasn't even a Romanian. Well, there was a girl who asked me for my number.
Okay.
And she was cute, so I was like, yeah, sure. So, and I was like, no, give me your number instead, because I didn't want her having my number. I'm like, I'll decide if I want to call you or not.
Yeah.
So I got her number, and as soon as I saved the number in my phone, I just felt a punch. And I stepped back, and I'm like, whoa, what happened? And it was this big kokala, big muscles, but it was typical the dumb Russian kokala. He was the black shirt, the tight black shirt, the jeans that are bleached, black shoes, and he was and he was with 4 or 5 other guys, all identical. It was like a uniform. They were all with the big muscles.
I think they are called gopnik.
Yeah, gopnik, Russian, probably one of those.
Gopnik, yeah.
The first thing when I got the punch, because I grew up in Belgium. Belgium, you swing a few. I mean, also Belgium is also, especially the immigrant community, they have a lot of fights in between each other. I just grew up knowing how to swing. So the guy punched me, and the first thing I thought when I looked at the guy is I didn't think he punched me. I started to look around to who punched me, and I realized it's this dude, and he was standing in front of me and I was like, first of all, what kind of bitch-ass punch was that, man? For your size, okay, this is not a fighter. This is a guy who does steroids, and he thinks he's strong because he has done a bunch of steroids. And the moment he punched me, the security guy grabbed him. Some random people from the club grabbed him, and they threw him out.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, fights don't even happen here. Even when something is about to happen, the guy got thrown out. The security came to me, "Are you okay, man? Is everything all right? That's just an asshole." And his friends were looking there angry, but they weren't doing anything, just looking pissed off. I was like, okay. And I continued and I partied. I was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Here, the body, because I also saw a lot of fights when I was younger and went into clubs. But like the bodyguards always came in, they just throw you out, and they don't escalate. Usually they don't escalate because it's too much trouble, and it's
apropos, when I was 3 months in Romania, I went to a football game, and it was my first time. I didn't know. I always knew football, in any country you go, there's a bunch that are just hooligans, you know? They're just the trash that are just there, you know? It is what it is. And I was like, okay, maybe someone could do something. And there was a group of dudes, like some ghetto dudes, and they started shouting at me, monkey, monkey, monkey. And I was like, you have them everywhere. Monkey, monkey. And I was sitting, and the group was like continuing, hey, monkey. And then there was like a gendarme and the security and some other Romanians, and the Romanians, like near those guys, started to insult them, started to swear at them, to shout at them. Some of the guys were saying, what, come to me if you want to call someone something. And the gendarme was doing like this to them, and then they shut up. They completely shut up. Like, I was so surprised. I was like, a group of guys started to insult me, and the crowd stopped them. And they were just like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? You know, nobody, I was thinking, maybe someone will join, and it will get worse. I was like thinking, okay, shit, who knows what will happen? But the crowd shut them off, and the security, and that was it. And I was surprised. I'm like, oh shit, this country really is not okay with this kind of behavior.
Yeah, it's not okay. Like I'm ashamed always when I hear stuff like this, because like somehow I feel represented, but it happens in every country. Like like it's so simple to get discriminated everywhere, because if you just
I got discriminated in Zambia.
Really?
Yeah.
How come?
They would call me white boy, because I'm from Europe. And so some would be like, you know, this white boy from Europe, because some have this animosity relationship with those coming from Europe.
From Europe too,
like, you think you're better than us who are here. And so they kind of don't treat you okay. Some of them are, you know, like treating you like this. And some of them would do that to me as well. Even though I was decent, like, what? I don't have an issue, but they would have a problem. So, everywhere.
I can understand that. You experience these things when you move from, because I also, like in Germany, the one thing that I didn't like is because I always felt like I had to work until neutral.
Yeah,
you know, like I never felt
100%. That is the truth of Western Europe.
I never felt that I started from zero up.
Never.
I always felt like I have to work my way up to neutral, and afterwards.
Yes.
And that feeling, I don't know how to explain
it's
better.
Horrible.
I don't know how to explain this feeling better.
Yeah.
But that's the main reason that I wanted to come back, because every encounter with a new person was like that. I had to prove myself.
That you're a good. I
always have to prove myself in every encounter, and it gets so tiring.
I find it funny that Romania is a country of white people that understands a black person. You know what I mean? Like I was like, yo, this is the country of white people that understands a black person, because most of my Romanian friends, they agree. Even if I tell them like, in Belgium, you're always proving yourself first. Like, oh, I'm black, so I have to prove that I'm a good black person. And then from there we go further. And Romanians are like, oh, I know exactly what you mean. Like if I go anywhere else, I also feel like I'm always doing the same thing. Like I have to first prove, and then.
I think it's not. I think it's different levels. Like probably, I don't know. I think it's more stigma for you. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm just saying. But this was always the feeling, and I think we know this because like 5 million Romanians. I don't know if but 5 million Romanians emigrated. Like I always say this. When I was in school, I was in 3rd grade, and I learned about the population of Romania. In geography books, it stated 23 million people, and now they are 19 or 24 million.
18 now,
18 million people. So a lot of people went out, and that's what I also experienced, because people like, and also like you know, now in the news with the Sri Lanka people from
in Detroit,
man, I get so angry about this. Like, how can a country that has 4 or 5 million immigrants can treat other immigrants like that
in a bad way?
How is this even conceivable? I cannot
to be honest, what happened in Detroit, I don't think it's very representative of most of Romania, because I've traveled to a lot of parts of Romania. even like some smaller villages, you know, it was not like that. I think it's every country has, you know, has a group of people that are just like that. I think in Detroit it was even worse because they are a secluded community.
Yeah.
Like within Romania, they're also a secluded community on top of it. They don't speak Romanian. They're not integrated. They're not up to date with Bucharest life or any. Just it's mainly their area. Yep. You know, that's where they live. They do everything. So they're it's like a cult in a way.
Yeah,
maybe it's a bad example, but it's like a cult specifically for that village.
Like
I'm not talking about the whole Hungarian population, but
like Amish.
Yeah. That specific village, my mama swakra, she even said, I know that village. I know the people from that village, and she said that's how it is. That's all they know. That's everything for them. It's a very fixed lifestyle, language. Everything is very set. That's how they live. That's all they know. So if you introduce any foreign thing in there, it will shake them up completely.
Yeah.
And so now you have two Sri Lankan, not only foreign, brown, they don't speak the language, they don't, you know, that for them it's like a bomb you throw in there.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
So I don't think it's very representative of most of Romania, but it's more representative of that village in particular and similar situations of secluded areas, you know?
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
And also, like, I'm really curious, when did you started with comedy? Like, when did you have your first idea that I wish I could do that?
Yeah. Okay, the first time I had an idea, I was being told for 4 years that I was funny, but I was only being told this in Romania. In Scotland, I was never told this, but that's because the Scottish people, they have something they call banter. The Scottish people are very clever, very witty. For them, a conversation with a Scottish person is always the most entertaining you will ever have. They're full of life, these people. They are full of life, and in a group with Scottish friends, it's always jokes and clever jokes. Insulting, clever, funny, everything on the go and always has to be running. It's like that's just how they are, you know? So you will always have a great laugh if you're among Scottish people. But if you're funny, you need to come up with something that goes even further for them to say, you're just a funny person, you know? You need because so it's up because they're generally they're just a funny group of people in general, you know? So when you are talking with them, you really need to either say something that's like, oh, I can't believe he said that.
Yeah.
Or, oh, that's so funny, for them to say, man, you should do comedy. So I never heard that was funny in Scotland. I heard it from friends, like, oh yeah, he's a funny guy. But you hear so many people being called funny. It's not a compliment.
Yeah.
Then I came to Bucharest and people would tell me all the time, you're so funny. Sometimes I was roasting a friend and someone got the camera and started filming. They were laughing so much, telling me, you should do stand-up. And I thought about it for years. But I thought, I'm not that funny to do stand-up. Stand-up comedians, these guys know what they're doing. They have techniques. I just joke with friends. It's not the same. And then I was watching a Netflix special. I don't remember who it was. It was not anyone, well, not one of the huge, like Bill Burr and stuff like that. It was just someone who in America, when they were just dishing out specials, a year and a half ago. And I remember watching it and I was like, I think I could do a better job than this person. Maybe it was an arrogant thought, but I still thought
every person who started comedy had that.
I'm like, you're on Netflix. Like, I think I could do better than this, because I can't even smile. Like, I'm not even smiling. Then I was like, okay, let me try comedy. And then a year and a month ago, I went on stage at Mojo, British comedy night.
Okay.
And from there, I met Chris Baker, brought me to the Fool. And then he took me from the Fool to comics, then from comics to Club Noșno, and then from there I just started doing it.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
that's so cool. That started like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't I saw, like, for example, I also in Germany I was never considered funny, because in Germany you are not allowed to laugh. It's a known rule. Like no jokes. It's serious. Yeah. It's not optimal to laugh, and you lose time by laughing.
Yeah.
So I was not considered funny, but the moment I moved to England, because I wanted to do stand-up like my whole life. I wanted to do this, but I never thought that I could do it. I didn't know that you could just do it if you want. So I moved to England and I wanted to do it in English, because I started in Frankfurt and it worked really good for me. it always worked good for me with the English crowds. Like if there was an English crowd, it was perfect, or Americans.
I find that the British and the Americans are easier to get laughing. Like they really enjoy. They like to laugh and they really enjoy it. They really enjoy it. Yeah.
And then I went to England, and there I got a lot of people telling me I'm funny. Like everybody. It was so weird that I never had like 5 years of people like
you're not funny, and then you suddenly hear it,
and suddenly it was you're so funny, and like my balls got this big, and I'm like, man, I should really do comedy, you know. And then I came back to Romania.
Cool.
And the thing is that what I said, it was similar because I also started in English in a country that is not English speaking.
Yeah.
And I went to England because I thought I'm gonna do this in English, but afterwards I said, there are a lot of reasons not to do it in English, and there are a lot of reasons to do it in English. And probably you also thought about this.
Yeah.
And do you see yourself staying in Romania and doing this, or do you see yourself moving to another country and do it?
Well, Romania for me is home, so I don't see myself moving out of Romania. But if I'm talking about comedy, I do consider myself to continue speaking English, because do the maths, it makes your market options bigger. You know, like
exactly.
I was looking at Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah was doing comedy in South Africa. I was watching his South African specials, which I find absolutely funny. They're so funny, but if you're not from that region of Africa, you won't necessarily get the jokes. And I thought, this guy is brilliant. He's so funny with these very local jokes. And but because he was English, even though he would speak like the Xhosa language, and mix it with English, he could switch to just completely English and go to America and try it there. And then obviously he blew up. So I always think, okay, I will continue to have English in my comedy with Romanian mix. But because it gives me the versatility of, who knows, one day I could just say, okay, I'm going to try and do another Eastern European country. See if Bunica, I can say babushka instead in Russia. Let me go to Moscow and try at a comedy club there. See what happens, right? And go from there. But I would always live in Romania as my home, but I would like to do comedy outside as well.
But this, I think it's a really good idea in Romania to do this, because like you're the only one on the market doing this.
Yeah.
So you have that as an option, which is really good. The problem is that if you go to like it's different, because some regions people don't know. Like
I had shows where I was actually still surprised, even when I went to like Slobozia, and I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna have to put in a lot of Romanian, but I just went really confident, and I did how I usually do my sets, and the crowd really liked it, laughed, and I was surprised. And there was a guy who came to me, he said, nu vorbesc engleză, dar înțeleg pentru că mă uit la filmul și tot felul de chestii, chiar am râs. And I was like, okay, this dude doesn't actually even speak English, yet he was able to get it.
Because probably we are used to English language because of movies
and all these things.
Such,
So it put a bit of a feeling on me, like, okay, that means I can continue, but probably if I go to certain regions, I'll have to amp up more Romanian punch words, more maybe sentences in Romanian, more paragraphs in Romanian, to be able to, connect with them as well.
Yeah, but that's really good. Like you really have something different than the rest. And how was the experience with iUmor? Because you won iUmor, and congratulations for that.
Thanks.
That's really cool. How was the whole experience? Like, did you expect it, or did you think about it? Or?
No, it was very weird. Okay, after the first time I went at iUmor, I was not expecting the response to be like what it was,
Okay.
Yeah, after I went and I did the set, I mean, I knew I was going to, I saw it this way. I saw it as, I'm going to iUmor, and I'm going to give my jokes a good farewell, because when I say them online, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm gonna give the best of these jokes. I'm gonna say goodbye, give them a nice goodbye. I won't say them anymore again. So let me give it and see how the public reacts. And it was overwhelming. The views, the responses, starting to get booked, and I was like, okay, people really like me. And so I went as a finalist, and then at the filming of the finals, I was filmed last, and I was there like 12 hours or 13 hours. So I was tired. I was like sitting all day long. But then I had to be like, okay, I'm going there 10 minutes and I need to get myself in a state where I'm going to kill it. I'm going to have to do the fucking best. Come on, do this for your jokes. Give your jokes a good goodbye. Don't just go there and do it. Make sure that you give your jokes an ending that they deserve. Make sure people will really enjoy them.
That's a nice way to see this.
Yeah. So that was it. I said, okay, I'm going to go and I'm planning to kill it and I'm planning to do the best I can. And I have this thing. I was very nervous. Like 2 or 3 hours, I kept thinking, am I funny? Am my jokes even funny? What the hell? Maybe I just got here by luck. I started off having all these thoughts, but I always have this. Then 5 minutes before I go on stage, it all disappears and I get this super confidence. I'm like, that's it. I've got this. I'm going. And then I go and I did it. And after I did it, to be honest, I don't know if you saw, they filmed everyone celebrating.
Yeah, I know that.
I was the second last to celebrate. I'm seeing everyone celebrate. I saw some people really celebrate, and there was some who I thought, okay, he has a high chance of winning, so probably he's gonna celebrate for real, and he really went for yeah. And I was like, I gave a good show, but I don't think I'm going to win. I'm a foreigner. I'm a black dude in a homogenically mostly white country. I'm speaking in English, not Romanian. I mean, even if people like me, it's hard psychologically to vote for someone that somehow is still seen foreign. In any country, it's the same. So I thought I have these barriers, so time to celebrate. Ooh, oh, nu vine să cred. It was just fake. It was so fake. I got the plaque, and even Kelo was like, man, this is how you're celebrating, dude. Like, this is how you're picking up the plaque. Oh yeah, like you're acting like you're disappointed with the 20,000. You know, my family's gonna want half of it anyway. My family in Africa want half of it. So I wasn't like, you know, my celebration was really half. And then when they showed it the day of the filming, I started to think analytically. I started to like, okay, from all the finalists, I'm the finalist with the most views on Are You More.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe that's an indication
that you have a bigger
that
chance.
I have a chance. And also some people were in the comments saying I would vote for the first time. And when I would go on the streets, Piazza Romana, it doesn't matter where, all these 12-year-old boys would come to me like I'm some kind of hero to them. So I started to think, wait a minute, maybe my chances increase because the people that are voting for me could be the young kids who are thinking of Kobe Bryant, 50 Cent, who grew up with these kind of black dudes as super cool. Wow, I want to be like a black dude. I want to say nigga. I want to like I was thinking maybe that generation might be the ones that will really vote for me because on the streets they always came to me. All these kids always recognize me. I would see some group of kids looking and I would just call them over. MUKINKA, frate, bă, ce faci? Da, sunt rapper. I'm like, I don't rap, dude. You know? Yeah. So I thought, hey, that could be, you know, my catch. Like I have an appeal from these really young ones to maybe an older one.
Yeah.
And then on the day of the show itself, I was thinking, okay, maybe I have a chance. Maybe my chances increase. Maybe. And then when the show I More started, I started to feel nervous.
But you also find out when it happens?
Exactly when it happens is when I will show you the video. I was at my mama's wakra. Exactly when everyone found out, I found out. So I was watching the show and I was watching everyone's performance and I was thinking to myself, I was actually saying to myself, fuck, I wish there was just one act that everyone would just say, okay, that act is the definite winner, you know? Like, then I would feel better. But I was starting to feel like, oh man, like German, for instance, he did phenomenal. I really think what he did was, I think a lot of people don't necessarily understand just what he did. Like, you know, it was very intellectual, what he did. Like, it was very smart. It was it was a piece of art. He got 3 people, I think they were poets, and he got some historical, like people who had very, you know, key parts in art. And he made their characters so funny, but also played on how they were. Yeah. And he created this entire scene of him trying to say, it was comedic genius. But when I saw it, I thought, okay, this is fantastic, but those 12-year-olds that come up to me on the streets, they're not gonna get this. You know, they're not gonna get this. You're gonna have probably an intellectual group of people that are gonna vote for German completely and be like, this, even like after I won, I saw a whole bunch of hate coming my way, because like, oh, you shouldn't have won, you know, because I was thinking the ones who get it will be like, okay, and this I got this, like I got all the elements, this really, you know, made sense, and this is my guy, you know, he's also Romanian, so I'm gonna vote for him. So but when I saw the whole when I thought of the whole thing, and I also thought, okay, they're also Dan Tuts also had a very good stand-up set, and I just started to think, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I got happy when I saw that they put me and German last.
Okay.
So the entire show, and sometimes this also psychologically can affect things, I think.
Yeah.
The entire show happened, and then German and I were last. They say leave the best for last. There's a reason people say that, because it's usually true. When you see something like a final act in a comedy, you're usually thinking psychologically you're prepared for it to be the best.
Yeah, exactly. That's,
so like the same with Ayumor. So then they had German, and you know, Delia actually was like saying, oh, you guys should vote for German. I know I'm jury, I'm biased, you should vote for this guy should win. Bendia Kelo. So basically all the jury was saying this guy should win. So I was like, oh fuck, I'm fucked. That's it. German's gonna win. The jury just actually wants the guy to win as well. And then after German, then they did my bit.
Yeah.
And my wife was pregnant at the time. They also shot it, and there was a moment where actually Bendak turned to her and said, oh, you're pregnant, you're the wife, you know. And I was like, oh, emotional points, bing.
Yeah.
And then plus the whole set, and then I got super nervous when they started to say the thing, because I was thinking, what if I actually win? Like, wouldn't that be something? I was I still think German's going to win. But I was like, but what if? And when they said my name, I still couldn't believe it. I'm like, what? Holy shit, I won? So it was a roller coaster. You start to think so many things. You start to analyze. You start to wonder.
Your
you start to
through
the roof. Yeah. But it was crazy. But at the same time, it confirmed what I thought about Romania in the first place. That Romania, first and foremost, is not a racist country, because Romanians like to say, noi suntem racist. I'm like, not really, you're not, because you're pe față with everything. If you don't like me because I'm black, I'm sure you just tell me, you know. Or if you don't like black people, I've had Romanians tell me, like an older generation, you know. Nu știu mult despre negri, dar tu nu știu, tu ești așa, bun, ești, mă, te plac. And I was like, but it was pe față. And I was like, this dude is not racist. He just doesn't know black people, and he likes me, and he feels like telling me. If he was racist, he wouldn't say anything. He would pretend he likes me, but then behind he's thinking, this motherfucker.
This is, I just want to say that this is something popular in this region of Romania, because like, I'm not from Bucharest, I'm from Sibiu, I'm from Ardeal.
Ardeal.
Yeah, and there's a difference between people. Like, people here are more...
pe față?
Yeah. They are gonna tell you what they think. In Ardeal, it's not like that.
More. My wife is also from Ardeal.
It's more German style, you know, like they smile, but they don't.
They don't really. Okay. Yeah. But for me, it was just a confirmation that one, I can do comedy in Romania, and two, that Romanian people like me. For me, which was like a confirmation of, you know, I made the right choice, making Romania my home. And I made the right choice doing comedy in Romania, because both of them seemed to, like, you know, the people gave me a reward for my choices. So I felt really honored and really like surprised. Still till this day.
I'm really happy for you that you're happy with your decision like this, because for me it took a long time to accept that I don't want to go in another country to do this, you know, to do comedy, to do it in English, because I always had this in the back of my mind, and I say, why should I do it in another country when I can do it here? And
and also comedy in Romania is starting to reach a level where it's starting to really pay off. If you see the older generation, you know, Teo, Costel, Micuțu, Băra, all these guys have been doing it for so long. I think I saw an old video of Toma. And I was like, man, Thomas look
2005 or 6,
super young. I'm like, what the heck is that kid looking like Thomas doing there in the video, right?
Yeah.
And you see these guys have been doing it for so long, but really in the last few years, people tell me, and I've also seen it, it's really starting to pay off. Like now it's really and I think it's only just starting, you know, that people are really now starting to become much bigger in Romania. So I think comedy even now is a good time to do it in Romania.
Yeah, because it Romanians always liked comedy. Like everybody likes comedy, but like we always had this comedy. And now stand-up, because of iHumor, this is one thing that iHumor did good.
Yeah.
Is that it spread the word about.
Spread it, yeah.
And people say that it's bad because it shows bad examples of stand-up comedy, and
as well,
it's true. It also fucks up someone. But I'm more of an optimist, and I like to think that people will see the bad stuff and they say there should be something better, and then move on. I always think about this. Like you see, because the more you watch comedy, the more you want something new and something better. Yeah,
absolutely.
So you always go and search for better things.
Yeah.
And it's good that it started, because if it's not in somebody's mind, then it's not at all, so it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
But if it appears there and then he goes gradually over the years, then it's something good.
I had a bunch of people writing me saying, I've never been to a stand-up comedy show. When's your next show?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's basically like a new client.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And also I wanted to ask you about this, because normally when you go to iHumor and you win, like the best thing that you can do is like milk that opportunity and ride the wave, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that I didn't see so many shows with you.
Yes.
And why is this not happening?
My daughter.
Okay. So because
family first. So my because my daughter just got born and I was on paternity leave. She's so young. She's only 3.5 weeks.
Okay.
So it was important for me to be there to help and it's a personal decision. Sometimes you have to, you know, like have your values aligned.
Yeah,
and if you put family at a certain place, you never sell family out for anything. So, you know, for me, that was just I wasn't even thinking about it. I was like, you know, I'm not going to be less funny if I take a bit of time off comedy to focus on my family. And it's good, you know, it's good to ride the wave, but everyone I've always loved,
family,
but everyone I've also always loved, like all my heroes, I would say, they never grew virally. They really grew organically. And I think sustainable growth is not viral growth.
Yeah.
You can go viral and because people, especially now, their attention span is so short, you can't do things for their attention span. So, you know, sometimes you let them miss you, you do your thing, and build up. So when you come again, you're going to build, you know, you want to have a cult following. You want to, because that's what's going to make you money, a cult following, not viral. Being viral, no one pays to see someone who went viral, but they will pay for a cult following. You know, they will pay I've met some people who are just like, oh my gosh, Cristi Popescu, oh my gosh, Cristi, and because I'm in doing comedy, so people I meet day to day, they tell me their favorite comedians, but there's some people who will swear, right, by Băra, and then they'll say, no, Băra, man, how could you say Mikutsu? Băra is the guy. But then there are other people who say, you're the dumbass, man, Costel is the dude. Like everyone has their cult following. I've noticed with the comedians that they swear by some comedians. No, this comedian is the best in Romania, because everyone has different tastes.
Yeah, exactly.
And so they have this cult following, and I think that's what really makes money. Not the virality helps expose you, but the cult following is what really people will pay to see you if they really like you. So I wasn't concerned about doing a lot of shows after iHumor. I was more concerned about, you know, being with my family. But slowly, bit by bit, now I'm already getting back into shows, and
okay, that's perfect.
She's growing. As she grows, I'll be able to go 100% again very soon.
That's really cool. Yeah, and also, well, like when you go into and have shows in other cities, it's like you go only for 3 days or something like that.
Yeah. It's not, you're not, it's not, I mean, it is a business, but it is not, let's just say the time cost is okay. Nobody goes on a Monday morning to a comedy show.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So, you know, they go on a Friday evening, Thursday evenings. they can go Monday evenings, it's evening stuff. No one is going during the day to comedy shows. They're going in the evenings.
So that's why you can balance them somehow.
Yeah.
But what do you work now? What's your job now?
I'm in IT. I work at Oracle. Yeah.
Oh, Oracle. Yeah. I also worked at Oracle.
Yeah? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna be interesting. I think it's a tough job because I'm doing also now only comedy, and it's a lot of work. Like we talked before, like when you do this, like it's a full-time job.
Yeah.
Full-time, I mean like all the time.
Yeah. You're always thinking of jokes. So your mind is always thinking of, you're always thinking of jokes, especially if it's your full-time job. Because it's not my full-time job now, I'm in a way relaxed without the pressure of I need to think up jokes.
To make money.
Yes. So many times the jokes just come very natural because I don't have that pressure. So I find myself writing a lot during the day. I'll be on my phone, write a line, write 2 lines, write an idea. But I think the moment it becomes your full-time job, there's a mental pressure that it's hard to understand until you do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it becomes a full-time job then. Then you're always thinking about a set. Always thinking about, okay, how do I expose myself? How do I make sure people know more of the jokes that I'm telling? How can I get more people to shows? How can I... It starts
exactly. Yeah, because you're either thinking about jokes or thinking about a way to bring people to shows.
Yes, or to do shows, more shows. Like more shows, people to shows, or... Yeah.
That's cool. It's nice. But it's a good idea that... with the organic stuff.
Yeah. It has to be. It's the only. It's
the only way. This is very interesting because I don't know if this is something that because most people don't think like this. I don't know if you realize this. But this is the reason I never went to Ayumor. Because I said it's not gonna bring me anything. Because if I do, like, the only thing that brings you if you win.
Yeah.
Because you get the money, but I know that I'm not funny enough to win. Yeah. I'm not in that area, so I know I don't have a chance of winning. And the exposure, it's not gonna help me. So my only bet is to do it long term and organically.
Yeah.
And that's why I never went to
build your following. I don't know if you know Tyler Perry.
No.
Tyler Perry is a black movie producer, actor. He owns his own studios, Tyler Perry Studios.
Okay.
He has, you can Google the studios. It's bigger than Warner, Universal, all these American studios put together. He has a campus that is like a village. He has houses on that campus for filming. It's huge. He's got a fake White House replica on that. It's like crazy. And the dude is crazy rich. He's got like $600 million net worth. Very few people know Tyler Perry. But Tyler Perry makes movies specifically for African Americans, and his movies have bad ratings. They're not blockbusters. They don't get reviews. They're not talked about by anybody. But he said, well, I'm not making them for everyone, so I'm not expecting the ratings from a different community to judge this. The people who go and watch it, the African Americans, they understand everything. That's why they're buying tickets for the movies. That's why I got this wealth in the first place, because I have a unique group of people that buy my shit, they download, they come to shows, they come to cinemas, and I made my money for the people I intended it. So his studios are now like, he recently opened them, and it's literally like you drive on that entire studio. It's huge. It's bigger than all Americans. I think most of the biggest American studios put together, like Universal, Warner, all these ones, put them all together on a land. His is way bigger than theirs. So it's massive. But this dude did that. Wow, most people don't even have a clue who he is.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know who.
No one has. Very few people have a clue who he is. Only African American. If you're black, you know Tyler Perry. You know who he is, because he makes movies like he did this thing where he was like, okay, black people don't have a black version of Friends. Yeah. Something that they can relate to for their community. He made something like that, like Madea's house with a crazy black mom and the families and the stuff that goes on there that African Americans can relate to. It's like, okay, we don't have a series on a middle class, on an upper black middle class, because no one covers it. So he made that, the haves and have-nots. So he creates all these things to represent African Americans, and they binge it, they buy it, they're like, oh, this is our stuff. This is stuff I can relate to, you know. So
that's so cool.
When I saw that, I was like, okay, that's what I want to do. I don't want to make comedy for everybody, you know. But if a kokala laughs at my jokes, great, you know.
Yeah.
But at least I'm trying to make humor that has certain undertones with it. And that's not for 12-year-olds necessarily, you know, but that's also not for 60-year-olds necessarily. It's mostly for, not for kids, not for like 18-year-olds necessarily. It's for maybe when you're like 25 to 40.
Yeah.
Like probably the expressions, the language, and the references I use, they probably relate to it the most.
Like you have to have a niche.
Yeah. I'm not trying to appeal to everyone. I'm trying to build my own following of people.
And who is I think you listen to a lot of Romanian comedy stand-ups. And which ones are your favorite? If you want to say, your favorite Romanians?
When I first started listening to comedy, the first one that really got me was Costel.
Okay.
And that was at a time when I didn't really understand Romanian. Okay. I actually understand much more Romanian, and I speak much more Romanian because of comedy now. Okay. And but I was looking at his expressions and everything, and I just found it funny. I didn't know what he was saying, but I found myself laughing.
I think this is really important that you say this, because he can be funny even if you don't understand the language.
Yeah. And then after I started to understand more, I was like, okay, Costel, I really like the way he does the build-ups, the way he, like, it's I would say maybe it's similar to how I would think of a joke, because the way he would tell it, he would start off with certain layers and then build up to a certain point, and then he just starts shooting and you're laughing from there.
Yeah.
And I really, really like that. And when I felt like, okay, I understand Romanian comedy, because it's hard to understand comedy if you're not fluent. I started to become fluent in hearing Romanian, and then I really enjoyed Micuțu.
Okay.
Because he I don't know if probably also his theater background adds to that, but he has a subtle-ish body language to the jokes. Yeah. You know, he looks serious. When you see him on posters, you just think of a very serious person, but then the limbage of the body and the stuff he says, it's subtle, and it's always with this inclination, this subtle inclination, which I found super funny. Okay. But those two are my personal favorites for reasons of technique, and also reasons of their jokes, because I just, can I say I see myself in
doing
that?
Yeah,
I see myself in how they do it. But I mean, there's a lot of like we all know, there's a lot of super talented, super good comedians. You have the the guys from comics, from Noșno, from The Fool. All of these comedians are really, really dope. But my favorites are Costel and Micuțu.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because I'm also trying to see myself viewing it from the outside. It's very different. For example, from German comedians, I cannot, because I also listen to stand-up comedy in German. I cannot relate to it, and I don't find it funny. It's so hard to.
I can't relate to Dutch comedy.
You cannot?
Can't. There's one Belgian guy. His name is Philip Herbos. I can relate to him completely. He makes me laugh so much, but very few do, because the humor, and people go crazy for some of these Dutch comedians. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't.
Yeah. Because like everybody has a niche.
Yeah. And everyone has a niche. Everyone has a.
It's like music styles.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think in comedy, the best the ones who they say reach, like the Richard Pryors, they usually become like that because probably they're also so well tuned to humanity that when they're transmitting a message in their comedy, it is a message that hits everybody, you know? Like if I make a corporate joke, I can't hit everybody. I'll hit all the corporatists and that's it.
Exactly.
Right? But there's some comedians that, and I think it takes a lot of time to reach that level where you just say something in a certain way and you explain and that everybody gets it.
Yeah, that's the thing that I always say, that I think that the perfect combination of a comedian is that he has this humanity part, which is something that you need to explore. Like I see Costel having a lot of this from the humanity part, and you also have to have the rational part to make to critical observations. And if you develop these two and find a way to mix them together, I think that's the sweet spot for creating like really good comedy.
It is.
And it's something really hard to do. Like I'm struggling, like I do now, like it's been for me for 3 years now, and I just start understanding how these mechanisms work. I just see them, and now I'm just finding a way to apply.
When I was watching Dave Chappelle, the comedians that I really, really admire from outside, I would really just say Dave. I mean, there are there's a lot of comedians outside of Romania and the world out there, but Dave for me was always will be number one. And it's because, I mean, he had this very peculiar look and storytelling style and dressing with his hanging clothes. His old specials were the best. People are saying, oh, Sticks and Stone. I'm like, go watch the olds, Dave. Like that stuff would, like Killing Them Softly. Oh my gosh. There's not a single second I'm not laughing at Killing Them Softly. Like that Dave was the way he delivered his style, his walking, his body language. And he had this unique skill that you feel like you're there with the person, like you're just having a one-on-one conversation with a funny friend.
He's like a genius of comedy.
But Dave's comedy is pure fantasy. He brings you in this fantasy world where he will talk about him and his white friend smoking weed, and then the white friend goes and asks the police for directions. Like, we all know none of that stuff happened about him smoking weed with some American Indians, and like he'll come up with this fantasy. Like we all know it's fantasy, but it's like watching a really good Disney movie. It's like it's just so like Lion King. When you watched it back in the 90s, you're watching, everything captivates you. You believe it's real. Yeah, because it's not real, but you believe it's real.
He's really good at making this like a suspension of disbelief. Like he really is really good at acquiring this. Like you say, okay, I know this is not real, but you get into the story.
I know it's not real, but I believe him.
Yeah. That's really cool. Okay, man. Like we have 1 hour and 14 minutes. I think it's perfect.
Nice.
It was a real pleasure.
Thank you for inviting
me. It was really interesting to talk in English. It's been so long since I spoke
Data
English.
viitoare în română.
Data viitoare în română. And I just want to announce a few things. Like I also have my Patreon, because I try to get an income, because I really want to have my own studio, and so I really like the people from comics that they let me record my stuff. Come to comics. Their shows here. And when I don't know how often, when do you have your next shows, or do you want to announce them if you want?
Next show is 11 februarie la The Full.
11 februarie, The Full. And thanks, man.
Thank you, man.
It was really cool.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.